hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Island Church Weekly Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Matt, joined as always by Pastor Will. Pastor Will, how you doing today?
Just super, Matt. Great to be with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us what happened at church on Sunday. How's this past week been? What's God been up to this past week?
Well, it's another good week. We continue to have guests, new first-time guests, but also just people that are new in the area that have now are making Island Church their home church. And I just encourage people: one, if you haven't come and check us out; and two, if you've been out for a while, come and reconnect with us. There's just a lot of great things happening in the life of our church, and people are showing up and they're talking about what they're learning from God and just how being they encouraged they are with connecting with other believers. So it's been really good.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, tell us a little bit about what's happening coming up this week. I know there's a lot of new exciting things always happening. What's kind of on the docket for this week?
Well, and just thinking about in terms of the message, this past week I actually preached on teachability, and I talked about moving from our childhood, which is kind of foolish, to actually a future. And a lot of our things in our life are dependent upon our successes, dependent upon our teachability. And this next week is going to be another, look forward to this message, another topic that makes a lot of sense to people, and that is our subject of patience. None of us are for wise enough. We're not actually praying for patience, because that tends to mean we get a chance to practice it. But we'll be dealing with that this coming week. But we've got this coming Sunday after the service, we're going to have what's called apps. And what that is not apps electronically, like on the phone, but appetizers. And so we've had so many guests, so we're going to have a gathering right after our service, and we'll just have some finger food and a way for our members to connect with our guest, and our guests connect with our church and ask questions, just engage with us. So that's coming up this week. And then this week we've got, in addition to the men's ministry and women's ministry, and in terms of the prayer groups, we've also got their ministry, the Women's Bible Study. We've also got some things coming up with this week in terms of a new life group on Wednesday nights. And actually, they're going to be studying this book right here, actually, A Life Beyond Amazing by Dr. Jeremiah. Dr. David Jeremiah is a renowned pastor and author and writer. And so looking forward to that particular group. I'm going to help facilitate that group and get it started on Wednesday nights.
Awesome. And if someone wants to join that group, where's the location, time? Give us some of the basic details.
Well, actually, this particular week, we're going to be at a home just down the, just a few hundred yards actually from our building, normally on a Wednesday night. But this particular week there, it's going to be at 6:30 at our building. The person who's going to be hosting is having surgery right now as we're filming, actually. And so they're going to be recovering. And so I'm not sure they're going to have their home available for tomorrow night. But we're right here, so they can just connect with us here, and it'll be 6:30 every Wednesday night.
Well, great. Well, how can folks be praying for the church this week? They're always asking, hey, what's God up to? How can we be supporting it? What are some ways they can be praying and supporting the church this week?
Well, just in terms of praise, Matt, we've continued to have a growing children's area, and we continue to have newer people and some younger families that are engaged. Some have made the island their home. And so we continue very, very pleased with our island kids, and just continue to pray for that as we think about that expanding ministry of our church. And of course, we've got this building campaign with Bridges to the Future. And so we're looking forward to building a building. That's a longer, wider, bigger prayer request, but it's still something. We're going to be engaging our architect, and he's going to be putting the designs together. And so that's on the horizons. But that kind of goes together with reaching either new people, and particularly serving and ministering to young people. So that's a big thing. And then as we have these guests, we want to make them to feel at home. We want them to get connected at a pace that's comfortable for them. We want to be available, but not intrusive. And so we hope that each person here that's listening to this will invite a friend, bring someone with you, and we'll try to do our very best to be prepared to welcome them well. Our church does a phenomenal job just in welcoming people. And we hope that God would speak to them through the music and through our engagements with them, and then also through the message as well. So they can pray about our services and pray about our community, because it really is about us being a beacon of hope and a lighthouse, if you will, on this island for people.
Awesome. Well, speaking of the beacon, if you are not subscribed either to this YouTube channel or signed up to get those weekly Beacon email newsletters, definitely check those out. Go to our website, islandchurchtv.com, where you can register for the Beacon, or you can always call the church office, get added to that email newsletter. It's a great way to stay up to date with everything that's happening along with this podcast. So thank you so much, Pastor Will, for spending some time with us today. Thank you for your heart, for what God's doing through you, through our local church, but also just nationally, and just so grateful for you. And until next week, thank you so much.
All right. See you then.